Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're brewing Brave Noise, and I have Michele here, right?
Yep.
God, man, names. It's like
Saturday. We all had some beers last night, I'm sure.
I know, right? So yeah, we're brewing the Brave Noise Pale Ale, and Michele, if you would like to kind of explain what that is. So
Yeah, let me introduce myself. My name is Michele Wonder. I'm with the Women's Craft Fermentation Alliance. And that was a nonprofit that was born out of the Women's International Beer Summit that we put on last year. That was the inaugural year. And we figured, you know what, this was awesome. We want to go forward. So we started a nonprofit, and we hope you all join us again this year. So yeah, we're going to be brewing some Brave Noise today. Brave Noise is a collaboration with a purpose for a safe and discrimination-free beer industry. So, are you with me? Let's make some noise! Woo, woo, woo! That's right. That's what this beer is all about, you guys. We're getting professionals on board, commercial breweries. We've got a home brewers section too. We got you guys participating. Y'all can get out there, raise some money, raise some awareness. If your favorite commercial brewery in your area has not signed on to Brave Noise, drop them a line, drop them a message, talk to the beer tender at the bar and say, hey, y'all heard about this. I think you should participate.
Yep.
It's a wonderful way to have some accountability. Collaboration that requires action beyond just brewing a beer. So it's pretty rad. It's pretty awesome. The founder of the project is behind the camera right now, Ash Elliott. Well, let's make some beer. What do you say, Sarah?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Want to talk about the recipe?
Yeah. So this is obviously a pale ale, so it's going to be about 4.7% or so if we hit our targets on the nose. It is a wonderful blend of Sabro and Mosaic. I didn't even have to buy hops for this.
Yeah.
I just had them.
got 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are solid
go-tos.
standbys always have on hand.
Yeah. And so we've got like a base of Pilsner, and we're going to use some white wheat, flaked oats, and caramel malt. So it should have a nice body and just be really
gives
great.
It a little bit of fluffiness.
Yeah.
Wheat makes for a really nice head retention.
Oh, yeah.
All that good stuff. So
gonna get that
adjuncts in there
lacing.
really help. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
And a touch of caramel malt too.
Yeah.
Just a little bit for a little bit of color, a little bit of sweetness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The recipe is 20, caramel 20. I have caramel 10. We're gonna use caramel 10.
Oh yeah.
Easy. I'm like, let's not buy anything. And for the yeast, the recipe calls for London 3, which is a Y yeast name, but we're going to use the Escarpment Labs Foggy London just because I had it.
Awesome.
So that's going in this starter right here.
I
And
like that we're using the English yeast because it's got just a little bit more character than the American yeast.
yeah,
It's got a little bit of appley, a little fruity esters to just give a little bit more complexity to the finished beer. So it should be really tasty.
yeah, everyone loves them now. It's like
Yeah.
Hazy's made English varieties for everything.
Yeah.
it's
More
like
fruit all the time.
All I ever use anymore. Okay, so we can get our water started and get it up to our strike temp, which is gonna, I assume, be 155. Let's see what's our mash
I'm
temp.
sure it's a single mash infusion.
152.
Yep.
We're just gonna do a brew in a bag, no sparge, just because it's an extra step. Doesn't need it.
Brewing never has to be complicated. It can be as complicated as you want, but it can be as easy as you want.
Seriously.
You know, seriously, there's a lot of steps you can miss. Like if you are looking at starting homebrewing and you're like, oh my god, this is so daunting, trust us, you can always slim it down, make it quicker, make it more efficient, and still get awesome beer.
Yeah. Right before I started homebrewing, actually, I was at a bottle tasting, and an owner of a homebrew store sitting next to me, and I was talking to her how I was getting start homebrewing, and she was like, honestly, don't stress it. It's like making oatmeal.
Yeah.
Like all
Seriously.
it is. It's seriously like making oatmeal water.
Yeah.
So let's make our oatmeal water.
Let's make some oatmeal water.
Okay, let me get. I can run this hose over.
Okay. Yeah, I have to say, this is the first time I've seen the Flora Brewing brew house here, and it is quite impressive, y'all. She's got all the gadgets, all the gear, dedicated brew space, which is always really nice to have.
Do you want to hold that in there? We're going to fill up to 7 gallons.
Okay.
Yeah, it's deep in there.
All right,
Here, let me
here we go.
lift this. That might
All right,
help.
gotcha.
Yeah, my hose is like slightly too short.
Well, that's why having a brew assistant is often very handy.
Yeah, I know. I'm usually having to clamp it over there.
Yep. You know, brewing's a great endeavor to do with a couple of friends. I mean, you can certainly do it on your own, but it's always nice to have an extra set of hands. Your brew master or your brew assistant certainly does not need to be super proficient. A lot of it is holding hoses.
And helping clean.
Out. Yes, clean. You do have quite a substantial little drip here coming off.
Oh, it's open.
Connect here. Oh, let me close that. Boom. All right.
All right, let's try.
Keep on running.
The quick release probably just isn't on. Perfect.
We're just about hitting 6. And we're coming up and cut. Great.
Sweet.
7 gallons. Man, that thing runs. I love it. It just goes.
We
quick.
added that. We added the water line.
Yeah.
When we got the house, solely for this, and we also ran the 240 volt. That one didn't exist yet.
That's
Man, it was like always in the cards. Like we have to get a garage to make a brewery, and we have to add 240, and have to have water.
240 is going to really just help the heat.
Oh yeah, that's
you get your kettle set up or whatever, and that 240 is going to make it so your heat can happen a lot quicker.
I need to just make sure that this will. Yeah, grain will be in there. Okay. I'm going to add a Camden tablet to that because if you smell that, that is like straight pool water coming out of my tap.
The dechlorinization, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 things in water that you usually want to get rid of. It's called chlorine and chloramine. You can do it a couple of ways. You can literally fill up your brew pot the night before and just let it evaporate out. Or you can do what Sarah's going to do. That's what I do as well. You use 1 Camden tablet. It'll do up to 20 gallons, actually, so we can probably half that. Grind it up.
You do 20 gallons?
Oh, yeah.
I always heard that it was 5.
Yeah, no, 20.
Man.
I use half, grind it up, stir it in, let it kind of dissipate for a couple of minutes, and all that chlorine comes right off. You can smell it just coming up into your face. So.
Yeah, because it turns it into like sulfur, right?
It can make the phenols that are produced often by yeast taste kind of like Band-Aid.
So I meant the sulfur. This turns into sulfur.
Right, yes, my bad. Yeah, but if you do not dechlorinate, the chlorine can react with phenols
medicinal
and make it take medicinal kind of Band-Aid. That doesn't sound good either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some other cool uses for Camden tablets is this is how they basically stall the yeast in like the grape juice that they make wine for. That's what it's predominantly used for. You have to use a lot more. But also, I keep reading this that it actually will dissolve oxygen. So if you're like dry hopping, you can throw a little bit in and it'll make sure that you don't get any oxygen in your final product.
Awesome. Had not heard that. Great.
Yeah, I keep hearing that and I keep forgetting about it until
potassium metabisulfite. That's the main active ingredient and it does a lot of stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a workhorse for sure. Okay, so now I gotta figure out what is what in my grain. Oh, I actually have Pilsner in the Pilsner container.
Let's grind some grain! Did that work? I don't know if it was on or not.
You're loud enough.
You got it. I don't really need a megaphone. My voice carries, so. So we're using the all grain recipe here today because obviously Sarah is a much more advanced brewer. You don't have to be an advanced brewer to do all grain. Don't let me mislead you on that. But there is an extract version as well. And essentially what extract is the manufacturers pretty much have already done the mash for us. They've taken the grain, they've ground it, they put it in warm water, they've drained it off, and then they basically remove a bunch of the water so it becomes kind of syrupy. And so you can use that as the vast majority of your grain or your extract, the sugars that you're going to get out of it when you ferment with that. So that's really makes it so you can literally just put a pot on your stove, put some extract in there, put some water, stir it up, bring it to a boil, maybe do a little bit of steeping grains like with the caramel and the white wheat or something. makes it even quicker and more efficient. It takes that whole mash step out of the equation, and that can really help shorten your brew day as well. Yeah. Lots of people start with extract. Like when you go to a homebrew shop and you get a starter kit, those are usually always going to be extract brews. And don't let anyone tell you that extract brew is inferior, because it is not. Extract beers win gold medals all the time at homebrew competitions. So it's not a difference in quality by any stretch of the imagination. It's simply a difference in process. And like we talked about, there's a lot of different ways to brew.
Hey, Michelle.
Yeah.
Could you also let our viewers know how they could sign up for Brave Noise as a home brewer?
Absolutely, yeah. If you go to bravenoisebeer.com, you're going to see up in the menu there's a little spot that says Homebrewer. You're going to click on that guy, and it's just a little form you're going to fill out. That's going to shoot over an email to the Brave Noise admins, and then you're going to get an invite link with the recipe and all of the particulars you need. You can have access to the label art. There's some Instagram grab screens that you can grab that you can then pimp it on your own Instagram and all that good stuff. And also, if you go to wcfa.beer, that's the Women's Craft Fermentation Alliance, we partner with Brave Noise to create a little digital toolkit. So if you as a home brewer also want to fundraise for a organization you feel passionate about that is doing good work when it comes to making safe and discrimination-free beer industry, or helping with resources to do that, you can go to wcfa.beer, click on the Brave Noise, and there's another little form to fill out, and you'll get a link directly to the digital toolkit. And it gives you a whole bunch of resources, and it really walks you through how you as a home brewer can make some beer, bottle it up, put out a call and say, hey y'all, if you guys want to donate directly to this organization that I'm supporting, go ahead and do that. Show us your donation receipt, and I'll gift you some of my beer. It's a pretty cool way to help home brewers participate in the fundraising aspect of stuff. So check it out, wcfa.beer. bravenoisebeer.com. Yeah. I'm going to try some of this delicious beer that Sarah has on tap. La Fin du Monde Clone. Can't get much better than that. I really love this brewery. Canadians doing Belgian beer. They do it awesome.
Okay.
All right, we got some white wheat. And so you guys can see, like, literally or the oats. It doesn't have to be fancy homebrew oats. Like, it's just the stuff you can get.
This is like off-label brand oatmeal too. I think it's actually a combo of Quaker and whatever.
Exactly.
But if you have a recipe that calls for flaked oats, it's basically the quick oats that you can buy at the grocery store. I literally pulled this out of my kitchen just now.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. So we've got our scale here. There is a bin of Pilsner right behind you, the one that says North Star Pils. That's not actually North Star Pils.
That's the Pilsner I've got at my house as well.
So
right, you got a scooper?
I use that.
Yeah, there we go.
I need an actual proper scoop, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Well, that's the beauty of home brewing, is we use the resources we have at hand, and it usually affects what we need. All right, 5 pounds, 8 ounces. All right, that's 2.2. And I really appreciate Sarah being willing to do this video. I remember when I was learning to homebrew, I consumed tons and tons of videos, but there was no video that really showed you start to finish what it actually looked like. And so when you're kind of starting out, I'm obsessive about that kind of stuff. Like, I want to see it in action before I try it. Yeah. So I love having a start to finish kind of video that people can look at.
I was actually I'm doing this like challenge with Martin Keene of the Homebrew Challenge. Shout out. He's awesome. But I was watching his video of the challenge that I challenged him to, which was like make a sour beer without actually using like a good belly or adding lactic whatever. So he used really sour yeast. But I was like, I'm watching your video and like you don't show everything, and he was like, everyone loves that you do. And I'm like, it's easier, honestly.
Yeah, right? You don't have to tweak and all that. And but no, it's
less creative thinking.
Yeah. All right, busting out the white wheat.
Yeah.
I love white wheat.
Oh, I do too.
I put it in so many ways.
Same. I don't, it's like I started out like using a ton of it, and it's just one of those things that I've kept. Caramel malts too. Like a lot of people are moving away from caramel malts because like, you know, it's like the taste of the 90s or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But I love it. Like I like a sweeter beer, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can provide some really interesting flavors too.
Yeah.
1 pound, 12 ounces.
Alrighty.
All right, let's do it up here. So, since we already have some in the bucket, we want to pour kind of slow because it'd be harder to take it out if we go over. Right.
If you can't get it all out, if you do over pour, not the biggest of deals. I did that the last time I brewed.
Yep. No, it certainly happens. Yeah, and just with malts, you know, you can buy them in bulk, like Sarah does.
When you open up that cabinet, there's more rubber bands.
Oh, yeah,
in there.
absolutely.
My rubber bands container.
Yes. And, you know, you can buy in bulk. It's just a good thing to be able to keep as much oxygen out of it as you can. But honestly, it'll last on your shelf for 6 months.
Yeah, as long as it's not milled, it'll last for a lot longer.
Right, exactly. Crush as needed.
Yeah.
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 Okay, now we're looking for 1 pound of our flaked oats. We're going to put this in after because this is flaked, so we do not need to mill it.
And it'll gum up everything.
Yeah. So we're going to go 14 ounces of our Crystal 10. And caramel and crystal malt is the same thing, y'all, so you know.
All crystal malt is caramel malt. All caramel malt is not crystal malt.
Oh.
Crystal malt is like a UK thing.
Education moment.
I did a lot of research on this because I was like, I was getting flack for something, and I was like, I'm gonna figure this out. But yeah, it's like a slightly different process, but typically they only make the crystal in the UK. That's why like whenever you see like British styles, you'll see crystal a lot more.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly thought it was a naming convention difference only, but process difference.
It's one of those things that's like one is always this, but this is not always that.
Right, kind of like all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right, 1 pound. No, wait, 14 ounces. 14 ounces. There we go.
I'm gonna pour slow.
Yeah, for sure.
I usually don't. I'm usually very reckless. Whoop.
There we go. 14.4. We're good with that.
We're gonna call that great.
Yep. And you know, personally, I just a little thing here because we're talking. I like to tear in between each type of malt.
I do.
That way, I don't have to do math in my head.
Oh, I know.
It says 1 pound, 12 ounce. I just put it on.
And you're not forgetting or like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, wait, where was I at?
I always end up like I'll be measuring out something and then it'll go to sleep and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, so most folks are probably going to buy your grains as needed per recipe at your local homebrew shop. And they usually have a mill on site. And you can go ahead and just grind it right there at the shop. If you ever need help wondering what setting you should put it at, they usually have information on the mill itself. Or grab a homebrew store employee. They are infinitely helpful, infinitely knowledgeable, and they are more than happy to walk you through the entire thing. You know, if any of you out there are new homebrewers, I really urge you to find your local homebrew shop. I know there's tons of great resources online and stuff to purchase, but there's something really important about being able to connect with a real person and walk in and say, hey, I'm brand new, this is what I want to do, and they will spend so much time with you, really sharing all of their knowledge and information. And they're great for when stuff goes wrong. You take in your beer, they'll try it for you and give you some tips about, you know, where they think everything went wrong, etc. So check out your local homebrew shops. Tend to like a finer or a coarser grind for your system?
Fine as hell.
Okay. Appropriate.
This actually probably needs to go down because I think sometimes it'll open up like as the milling.
Gotcha. Yeah, you got some stuff in it.
Yeah. That one actually is probably okay. It's the one on the right for some reason that
tends to drift a little bit.
Here. This usually helps.
Tills. All right. Yeah, a lot of people give you the recommendation of about the width of a credit card. So you can kind of test if you have your own mill and you want to know kind of what depth
Especially if you're doing like a traditional kind of mash. We're doing brew in a bag because it's easy. So like our screen is like super fine. It
Right.
can take basically flour. But if you're doing a traditional mash, you're going to clog up the works if you make it super, super, super fine. So a width of a credit card is usually ideal.
Yeah.
But you can also, like, in a lot of the calculators, use, they give you, like, mash efficiencies. So typically I'm, like, 75%, but I think the standard is, like, 67 that they list.
Cool.
So just to, you know, learn your system and adjust from there.
Yep. Get your numbers figured out.
Oh, I know. It's like every time you get a new thing, you gotta figure it out.
Yeah, I got a grandfather a while back, and it took a while because I was like, I'm at like 84% efficiency.
Oh, I know.
So my gravity, I'm brewing 7% beers, and I was trying for 5.5.
I know. I mean, that's like a running thing here. Even if I do set it at 75 degrees.
75%.
What am I even saying? 75% efficiency. It's like sometimes it'll be at like 85, and I'm like, God dang it. Like I like a stronger beer to begin with, but like now that I'm getting older, it's like I can't drink them.
Yeah, totally. What you can do in that situation too is if your fermenter has a lot of space, like she has pretty big fermenters here, so she might be brewing a 5-gallon like today. You can always add some water when you hit your final numbers, and that's going to take that whole gravity down, and then you just have more beer.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Let's grind.
This thing's like weird, so I always start with a handful. There it is. So, especially when it's like that fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't like it. What's that?
It's ready for some more.
It's all in there.
It's in there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, good. That's a bigger hopper than I thought.
Yeah, it's huge. You can fit like 10 pounds in here.
Sweet, wow.
I've been doing like
impressed by that.
15-gallon batches lately.
Yeah.
So it's like an entire bucket like this.
Yeah, wow, that's killer.
And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, this is the monster, right? The monster mash
Yeah,
or something.
The monster mill. One of Reed's buddies actually used to be a home brewer, and he like gave me 4 kegs, this thing,
Nice.
like all kinds of stuff, because he was just like, I'm just not into it. I'm like more into my weird electric barbecue grill thing.
I will take it. I will totally take it.
Yeah, and it was like right when I started, so that's like why I got into kegging so early.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, normally it's the fundage. All right. That went faster than I thought, man. That little monster mill really does its job.
I don't know what it is about this outlet too. The drill goes so fast on it. We're ready to mash in.
Let's do it.
Isn't this great?
That thing's great, man. Yeah,
I love
it takes. And my grandfather, man, it takes like 40. I got the 110.
The one, yeah.
I definitely want to upgrade to the 220.
I was talking to the guys who build it, and I was like, expected it to be like twice as fast, and he's like, that's not how electricity works, though.
Yeah.
He was like, it's like
exponential.
3 times as fast. It's faster than propane.
It's great.
Yeah,
that's
it's crazy.
Cool. That's cool. Love it.
All right.
And safer.
Yeah, that's true.
When you see people brewing outside all the time, I gotta brew outside, it's hard to brew in the winter, they're propane brewers, right? Like they've got the propane, gas, and that.
Yeah.
So electric systems have become a lot more proficient, a lot more affordable for your average home brewers. So it's a pretty cool way of being able to get indoors.
Yeah, so if you see someone in a garage, they're probably using electricity or a basement.
Yeah.
So you do not want to do propane in a basement. Oh my god, can you even imagine? Yep. Okay.
Big old screen as your bag. I love it.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really easy to spray out too. Like, I don't think anything is ever as easy to clean as that brew bag, those brew bags.
Oh yeah.
But it's not bad because you just hose it off. Of course, like some drain sticks to it, but it's like whatever.
All right. Would you like me to stir?
Sure.
You to dump?
Sure.
All right.
All right. And we can't forget our oatmeal.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Right. You just really want to stir as your mash is going in. If you're brewing by yourself, what I do is I dump in about a quarter of it, put it down, get my stir, mash paddle, what have you. You just want to make sure you don't get what's called dough balls. Sometimes they'll kind of clump together and you're not getting water in there. And if you're not getting water up against every little grain, then you're not getting extraction. Hot water can't work to activate those enzymes that then convert our starches to sugars, which is all that a mash is doing. I'm going to come and get a shot here of inside the kettle. Yeah, see? So this one's a real nice, when you do a brew in a bag, like Sarah's doing here, you're going to be mashing a lot thinner. You essentially have your entire quantity of water in already. If you're doing a sparge method, you have less water, thicker mash, and then you add water after the fact in what's called a sparge.
That's a pound of oatmeal.
Nice. Yeah, a pound in this recipe, you're really going to notice it.
Yeah.
Because our base malt's only 5+ pounds, so it's a big portion of it. So you're going to get that really nice, fluffy mouthfeel, and even a little bit of nuttiness, I would bet.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to turn the heat down to be 152, which is our mash temp.
You can see here it was at 155. We put the grains in, it dropped down to about 145 because the grains are significantly colder than 155. So we'll kind of work to bring the temp back up, and then everything will be heated evenly.
Fortunately, on electric systems, it's really easy to do that, but in a traditional like cooler mash tun, it's kind of more difficult too. You would have to have like boiling water if you're really low, but typically if you're like at like 148, you're still gonna mash.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna mash for an hour, and so let's set a timer.
So I think we're gonna say goodbye for y'all now. You saw part 1. We will be back pretty soon when we're ready to get to the next step. Thanks, y'all.